I know I saw a whole thing on Baker's talking about his labrum. He made a tackle after a pick. Should quarterbacks go make tackles? I like my quarterback going out there and challenging people, making physical tackles. Sucks that he got hurt a little bit, but I think he's going to be fine. And I think that pass rush for Cleveland hopefully can find a way to get home a bunch of times and make Herbert a little bit uncomfortable.
Mike Greenberg was making a point this morning. Old Greeny, two-time Hall of Famer, Greeny, host of Get Up, was making a point that are we not talking enough about how quarterbacks should not make the tackle? If they throw the ball or throw an interception or a turnover happens, just get off the field, because he thinks, which I think a lot of people think, that the torn labrum in the left with the harness, with how tight it is definitely affecting him. This is a contract year. That team's ready to go. He's not his best. If he decides not to make a play for his team there after a turnover, everything's still good. Now, obviously, Sacho came in and told a story about how when he was at the Bears, Pat O'Donnell, who was the punter for the Bears, was either told or did whenever he punted a ball, he would just go get right off the field. So kind of a burial of the brand, kind of by Sacho there. And if that is what Pat O'Donnell did, Pat O'Donnell's a great athlete, very attractive, got big. Hey, go fucking make a tackle for your teammates if they need you, okay? I did that in preseason games because I almost died, and I was told to get the fuck off the field.
That's dumb in a preseason game for you to make a tackle.
Bingo. I was told that by... Rest in peace, JT, by the way. But I was told that by coaches, like, hey, in preseason, you punt the ball and get the fuck off. But in regular season games, if you're on film not giving effort when you're almost giving up a touchdown, no matter what your position is, you'll get laughed out of the goddamn building.
You're right. I understand. So I was on the Bengals when Andy was on an MVP-type pace playing and had an unbelievable year, and then threw a pick, went and made the tackle and jammed his thumb up, broke his thumb or whatever, had to have some surgery, couldn't play. It was brutal, but how are you going to fault a guy for going in there and trying to make a tackle, trying to make a play? Like, I used to tell Nugent, so I played with Nugent in college and then 1 year in Cincinnati. I said, Nuge, I don't care what you do. Kick the ball off and run directly to the sidelines, because we don't have a backup kicker and you're really good. So if they get to you, that's our fault. We should be able to make the tackle with 10. That's what I told him. I understand it could be a bad look and most kickers don't want to do that.
Well, I think there's some kickers that don't mind it, and I think those are the potential kickers we're trying to weed out. But also some of those kickers are very good at kicking balls and are very accurate. I can understand, like, the rule of hindsight makes everything look better. But what happens if you get in there, make the tackle, that you only end up winning by one or whatever the case is, and then in the film room the next day everybody's like, hey, this guy who doesn't normally do this made a play for his team when he didn't have to. Hindsight is always the smartest, and stats will tell you that, like you, Dalton, and maybe Baker this year and this whole thing. But I don't think that's something you can teach to some players, and I don't think some players would ever appreciate looking like that on film. You know what I mean? People. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying some people won't like that.
It did look like Justin Reed, when he saw it was Baker, was like, oh, okay, I'm going to put my head down and run right through this guy.
Hey, they're taught that.
Yeah.
Hey, AJ, aren't you taught that?
It's the only time you could hit him, really. If you have the ball, you pick him off. But you can also, if you lower your head and you make head-to-head contact, you're going to get called for the flag too. Now that I think about it, in the NFL now, what is that?
It does rarely happen to running backs, but Justin Reed, when you watch the replay, he did send Baker. I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah, that's what they do. Back in the day, whenever a pick happened, the first two people you attack is the wide receiver that was targeted and the quarterback. That's literally what people were.
You seek him out. That was absolutely find a quarterback, and you got it, because a lot of times too that quarterback hangs around and ends up making a tackle or pushing a guy out of bounds, and it's your only time to really get to pummel that dude. So now you can't do it as much. And it's a lot tougher.
Oh, I didn't think it was because you're trying to take a cheap shot at quarterback, but I thought it was because they're the ones that know it was a pick long before most other people. There are some of the only athletes out there that can make the play, what you're saying, because offensive linemen are out there. But yeah, of course, a guy who has 0 documented concussions and used his helmet as a weapon, saying it was 40 pounds, would say, and also you get a chance to fucking murder a guy. You can't touch it. Why not?
Well, no, you can't really do that anymore, but you're 100% right. Yeah, he knows the pick was thrown before anybody else, but yeah, you got to take your shots when you can. That's the only time you can legally get them. Now you can't anymore.
Andrew Luck was awesome.
I wouldn't go after him. You got to send a DN to go after Andrew Luck. He's too big for someone like me to take on.
Well, Andrew Luck would become DN. As soon as that ball was in the air and he thought it was potentially going to get picked, he was I'll see you in the parking lot, Mr. Gilmore, or whatever. Like, he was on a mission. He fucked some people up. I mean, there were some big-time shots out of Andrew Luck, and he even did that back in college. That was, like, his thing. And this goes back to that style of play where it's like, I messed up for my team. It'd be disrespectful to football if I don't go and make the play for my team. It's like in hockey. or in soccer, you lose the ball or you lose the puck or lose the ball, normally you have to at least display a massive amount of effort to get that ball back or you'll be laughed out of the building. It felt like Andrew Luck viewed it that way. I threw a turnover. I need to make this up for my team no matter what anybody thinks. He continues, the end of plays going. It's disrespectful to football if I don't go. I assume Carson Wentz, who listens to faith music before the game, would throw his face into a wedge if he accidentally threw a kickoff and there was a 4-man wedge running into him. And that's the type of player that you would assume listens to faith music before the game, but that's what they do out there.
That's what they do.